Hey there, divers! Today we're going to be reviewing the Divevolk C-Touch 4 Max Plus. This is, of course, an underwater touchscreen housing for your smartphone. We're going to be starting off with a little bit of an unboxing, going over all of the cool things that you're going to get with your C-Touch, as well as a little bit of a quick start guide. After that, we're going to be taking this bad boy on a couple dives. We're going to be going to a couple different places to give it a little bit of a challenge. We're going to be doing some shore diving, some boat diving, murky diving, clear diving, all kinds of diving, as well as taking photos and videos and be showing you some of the other cool features that I've discovered have been helpful while diving. And while we're out there, we're going to have a grand old time. We're running into some sharks and some giant sea bass. So get ready. Let's talk about the Divevolk C-Touch 4 Max Plus underwater housing. What's cool about it? What sucks? You're going to find out today. Listen up. It's time to dive. Alrighty then, divers. Let's get to our unboxing. Go ahead and just wiggle the top of this box off here. Now we're just going to go ahead and throw our little Divevolk housing off to the side. Let's focus on what's underneath. We're going to take this little piece of cardboard out of here. Inside, we've got a couple packages with these plastic phone adapters. And we're just going to grab the correct plastic adapter for our SCUBA branded iPhone 12 and slap that bad boy in there. Looking back at the housing, we've got this nice little membrane cover. We're going to take that off, and then we're going to remove this little sticker here. This is to tell us not to get in the water without having this dummy phone inside the housing. If you wanted to pressure test the housing without a real phone in it, you've got to have this dummy plug in there. You can scan that QR code if you need to watch a video about it. If you don't have this in there and you get in the water, it could completely destroy the housing. That membrane there will just fold under the water pressure. Now we're just going to take our phone with the insert here. We're going to pop it in through the top. It will only fit one way, which is good because that's the way that your camera lines up with a little window. You're going to make sure that your top seal, this white rubber here, is nice and clean. Then you're going to give it a nice firm press and hit those thumb wheels. Once the seam up top is nice and tightly closed, we are sealed in. And if we come back to the front here, our touchscreen still works beautifully. Now I've taken the liberty of adding my own line and bolt snap here so I can clip off this housing into my drysuit pockets or onto my BCD. It does come with a little wrist lanyard that you can attach in the box, although I prefer something a little sturdier. Me and the manufacturer recommend that you use something called Adaptive Touch to navigate the phone. This is going to allow you not to have to swipe anywhere near the edges of the membrane. Swiping near the edge of the membrane can tear the membrane, so you want to be really careful and make sure that you're swiping in the center of the screen like you just saw me doing there. Alrighty then, let's get to some of the actual diving. Check out that handsome housing. Today we're going to be blowing bubbles in the Casino Point Dive Park, and it's an exceptionally beautiful day. So far, I've been pretty blown away by how much fun I'm having shooting with this camera and housing setup. It's somewhere between a typical action camera and a larger mirrorless or DSLR setup. It gives you the ease of use of the action camera, just point, shoot, touch the screen, as well as the slightly more cinematic look of being able to pull focus like you would with a mirrorless camera. The inclusion of the autofocus and being able to just touch the screen anywhere you want and focus on something that's a little too close or a little too far away is just really nice, and it adds something to get that little bit of bokeh where a little bit of the image is just out of focus. It's really pretty. It's just nice to have. Now in these shots here, we're just rocking the natural light. Obviously, you can see the surface. We're only probably 20 feet deep, so we're getting plenty of natural sunlight coming down, giving us some pretty decent colors. But let's go a little bit deeper and see what we get. As we were heading out deeper, I noticed this giant sea bass coming in out of the depths right towards us. Managed to get this really cool shot. Again, was able to just flip back and forth between the 1x and 0.5x lenses that come standard on this iPhone 12, and then just tap on the screen to make sure it was nice and focused right on my sea bass friend. Now that we've gotten a little deeper, you can see that things are getting really blue. We're starting to lose a lot of our color, but a little bit of video light action in my offhand. And just like that, we're getting a lot more of those natural colors back on our fun little lobster friend and this school of blacksmiths. Moving up and off the bottom now, we're hanging out in the kelp canopies, still getting some really good light. I'm using the wider lens here, and then I'm real quickly switching back to my narrower lens so that I can get some more linear type footage of the smaller inhabitants. Here we've got a group of blacksmith chromies mobbing onto a senorita, asking for a little bit of cleaning. Going back to that kind of cinematic look, this is our longer lens here. We're getting real nice and close in this rock ras. Again, it's really, really nice and cinematic. Just get that front kelp leaf a little bit out of focus, the background a little bit out of focus, and then our fish nice and sharp. I was able to get this really, really cool shot of a giant kelp fish opening his opercula to try and get this senorita clean out some little parasites for him. It's a really, really neat behavior I'd never seen before, and without being able to pull focus on a camera like this, I never would have gotten it. Then here, another really impressive shot. The autofocus is grabbing onto this Garibaldi and following it all the way up to the lens there. Very impressive. And then it's going to follow it all the way back. Again, that background, nice and blurry. You're never going to get a shot like that on an Insta360 or a GoPro. They just don't have autofocus and the ability to give you that little bit of bokeh that's following your subject. That's something that you can only get with these cameras, the phone cameras, or a DSLR mirrorless, and the Divevolk lets you bring that phone camera underwater, and it makes it really, really easy to get cool shots like this. That would be a little bit more work with a DSLR or mirrorless, but are just super natively easy to do with a phone camera. Coming back up shallow again, of course, our camera is just singing in all of this sunlight, and who doesn't love this spot right next to the stairs, getting in and out of the Casino Point Dive Park. Super, super gorgeous, watching these kelps just sway in the surge. On this next dive, we're doing something a little more complicated. This was a 4.5-hour tech dive out to Emerald City. Unfortunately, we had a lot going on this dive, so the Divevolk ended up just living in my drysuit pocket or strapped to my DPV for most of the trip. But that's just fine. That's kind of the cool thing about this housing is it can fit in your pocket. Look at how neatly it fits onto my little Genesis 3.1. It was very cool to be able to just cruise around the reef, look down, and have my Divevolk strapped to the side there. If I had loaded up a map of the area into my screensaver, I could have been using that to try and help my navigation a little bit. And then when we came up to our final deco stop, we were able to hang out and watch a little bit of planet Earth because, of course, we have access to all of the features on this phone because it's just got a touchscreen on it. So we can play games, watch movies, do whatever we want. After that, I figured I'd put it to a little bit of a photographic test. This is a night dive in Redondo, going out to look at the mud. Unfortunately, I had my settings. I was playing with a more cinematic app on the iPhone that wasn't really working the way I wanted it to. So popping back over to the default Apple camera app, and it gave me everything I really wanted. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot to see that night, so here's a cute video of a crab scuttling around, and then we're going to move on to the next dive. This one, we've got another challenging scenario for any camera. This is Redondo during the daytime, and nice and smudgy on this particular day. The wide-angle lens was giving me some pretty nice stuff. Here we have, of course, the Redondo Monument, a lovely stack of cinder blocks in the otherwise pretty barren wasteland of Redondo. But I was having a lot more fun with our linear lens here, getting a little bit closer up to our crab friends hiding in the cinder blocks, and then I really fell in love with our favorite little fish, the painted greenling, hanging out on the top of the cinder block. And then if you look really closely here, you can see Spot the octopus sticking one eyeball out of his little shrine, watching us as we watch him. While the colors on these wider shots leaves a little bit to be desired, and the lighting wasn't so nice, kind of bloomy. Getting a little bit closer, again, using that linear lens, getting to look at all the details is much, much prettier, and you get a lot more of the nice color from those video lights when you're closer to your subject. The only downside of having the video light in one hand and camera in the other is that I can't quite get my thumb up to try and select where to focus, so I was having a hell of a time trying to focus on this little nudibranch, but the entire dive was saved in my eyes by this beautiful little baby horn shark. Always love spotting these guys, and there's usually tons of them over in Redondo. For our final dive here in this video, we've got a very, very murky, but also very sharky Laguna dive. Check out underneath the water. It is not very pretty today. But that's all right, because these sharks were out to play. Look at this curious little guy just coming up to check us out. For the first couple minutes of this dive, everywhere we looked, there was just sharks swimming around us. Unfortunately, this wasn't going to last for too long. These guys are super duper skittish. We got this very cool bat ray that scared me. For the rest of this dive, I was testing out a fun feature. I made some fish ID screenshots, and so I was trying to find some fish and then compare them to my little ID cards. Here we've got a Garibaldi. Oh, what is this fish? Ah, a sheep's head. Very cool. If I was a dive guide, I would definitely be keeping a bunch of these fish cards loaded up on a little Divevolk so that I could show off to my patrons. Check it out. This is the fish that we're seeing. Now, I haven't talked about the functionality of the touchscreen very much, but you can see there I'm using it swiping over even in dry gloves. Pretty amazing. Alrighty then, let me give you a couple of my final thoughts about the Divevolk C-Touch 4. As you saw today, I've been sticking an iPhone 12 into my C-Touch housing here. Now, this is not my daily driver phone. I would never be so bold as to put my actual cell phone with all of my important data on it underwater. But I also didn't have to break the bank to get this phone. This is a used model. It's a couple years old. It came out in 2020, I think. And right now you can get them on back market for as low as $150. With the cost of the basic Divevolk C-Touch 4 housing being at just $240. That means that your all-in price for the camera and housing here would only be $390, which compared to a brand new Ace Pro 2 or a GoPro is a substantial amount of savings, especially when you consider all of the features that you get on top of the underwater camera, being able to watch movies on deco stops, pull up fish ID tags, look at maps, all kinds of stuff that you can do with this, as well as taking photos. It really is a pretty incredible value proposition to be able to pick up one of these for just under $400 and get all of these very nice features. Now, if you ever wanted to invest a little bit more in your Divevolk housing, they have several options. There's lots and lots of expansion available. They've got some little systems that clip onto the housing and add macro diopters and all kinds of wide-angle lenses and things like that, as well as being able to attach trays with arms and lights and all kinds of fancy mumbo-jumbo. I was definitely running into this situation in Redondo where I kind of wished I had an arm on this housing to be able to put that video light on it so that I could focus a little bit more with both of my hands to be able to operate the touchscreen with that video light in one hand, camera in the other. I was having a little bit of trouble being able to press the buttons on the screen to be able to establish where I wanted my focal point and to start and stop recording. So far, my experience with the touchscreen has been really, really good. The membrane seems to be quite durable, as well as just pretty easy to use. You've got to give it a little bit of pressure to be able to get that touch to kind of go through the membrane and activate on the screen. But of course, being able to use it with gloves, and especially with dry gloves, is really, really cool. I didn't think that I was going to be able to use the touchscreen effectively with the dry gloves, so I purchased these little tablet pens to be able to maybe touch the screen underwater. But to my happiness and surprise, it works really, really flawlessly, even with those really, really thick dry gloves and liners. I had never heard of the adaptive touch system on the iPhones before, but it is definitely absolutely mandatory for navigating the phone inside of this housing. I tried it without, and it was an absolute nightmare. Definitely use the adaptive touch navigation. While the housing is rated to 60 meters, which means that it should be totally cool for most recreational and even most technical divers, I've so far only taken it to about 35 or 40 meters, so I can't really attest to its total durability. However, I've been very impressed with it so far, especially the little rubber stopper on top of the ceiling point. It seems to have two ridges to it that would provide kind of a double layered seal protection. It's been very easy to keep clean so far. During some of the beach dives, I get a little bit of sand on it, and so I just peel that rubber piece off and give it a quick wash in the sink to make sure that it's nice and good for my next round of diving. I just want to make sure to reiterate one more time, you really need to keep the dummy plug inside the housing if you want to do a pressure test, as in if you just buy the housing and you want to take it underwater to make sure that it doesn't leak without a phone inside of it, you can't leave it empty. If you leave it empty, the compression from the water pressure outside on the air inside will suck the membrane inside and could potentially delaminate, which would destroy the membrane. So absolutely 100% make sure that you keep that phone dummy plug. I even like to keep the housing stored with the dummy plug in it just in case something in the bag or box that I'm keeping it in presses up against the membrane hard enough to deform it in a way that would cause it damage. Alright friends, let's wrap this up. The Divevolk housing is very cool. I didn't know it was something that I wanted until I had it in my life. Let this be your memo. If you're looking for a cool new camera rig that lets you take very cool photos and videos, that lets you pull focus, but is small and simple to use like an action camera, this is a really cool system. And if you're like me and you like having fish ID and maps and movies to watch while you're doing deco, this is again a very cool piece of equipment and I definitely recommend it. Safe diving and happy bubbles. I'll see you next time.